plant, hive minds, connecting us all in by law, with microchips in our brains by 2025.
We're looking at the literal realization of a military police state in America.
The American people have failed in their oversight of the integrity of our political system.
The entire economy will be prisons, police in black ski masks, a Nazi Germany-like nightmare.
The final target is the American people.
We need to break that connection between the police and the military.
They're charging them with weapons of mass destruction because they have marijuana.
I support the Constitution, which would be at odds with my own party.
There really is an Illuminati. There really are 13 families. They own the big banks and print the money.
They're in our universities and they're in our conferences, and they believe in one world government.
And plunge the American people into the deepest economic abyss of a generation.
If we have, or when we have another attack, it looks like they'll come with more legislation.
Again, problem, reaction, solution, over and over again. Government uses crises to scare the population into submission. That is so important to understand.
Topping our news, the approval of a resolution against the Patriot Act by the Austin City Council.
The council approved the measure late last night by a vote of 4-3, and before making the decision, council members heard arguments both for and against the law, which gives the government more surveillance powers. Our Veronica Obregon was following the debate and brings us the latest details.
It took more than 4 hours for the city council members to adopt a resolution regarding the Patriot Act. That's because dozens of people signed up to talk on behalf of the act, and at one point the meeting got a bit heated.
I personally would like all our children to live in a country where they can have the say and the control over their lives, and not some corrupt government official telling them what they can and cannot do.
The USA Patriot Act is unnecessary. It is an insult to Americans. It is an insult to the heritage, to our heritage, and everyone who has worked together to create this country.
For the first time in my lifetime, I'm hearing from more and more people who are worried that fascism could indeed happen here.
Speakers varied, but opinions towards the Patriot Act rarely did. That is, until we interviewed Assistant U.S. Attorney Ron Sievert.
The very first thing the Patriot Act does is allows the FBI and the CIA and Department of Justice and other agencies to cooperate with each other and share information so that we can make sure we can spot, identify terrorists, and hopefully prevent terrorism.
Why have 300 House members then rejected it?
But in the middle of our conversation, activist Alex Jones called the assistant attorney a liar.
Section 802 affects all citizens. It's for all crimes. It's for one marijuana cigarette. These guys haven't read it. Have you read it? Reporters? Do you respect this guy? No, you know how this stuff works. Guys are not going to sit here and hear this guy spew lies. See, this is, they don't want to talk to me. You need to answer real questions. You need to answer real questions instead of lying. You know, earlier I talked to you, you know it's in Section 802. You know. Can you guys your title again?
He says the Patriot Act gives law enforcement permission to search homes without warrants.
And now under the new Patriot Act, they have sections where they say our officers need not even need these administrative subpoenas or warrants. They can just carte blanche go anywhere they want for any crime.
The status of warrants is the same as it always has been. To do a search of a residence, we have to go to a judge and show probable cause, and a federal judge has to authorize it, and there's no check.
That is not true. It clearly says secret. We will protect liberty at all costs. Hey, guys.
That was Veronica Obregon reporting. Meantime, some Central Texans, as you could hear in that piece, are still struggling with the effects of the Patriot Act.
More than 600 detainees remain inside the United States military facility at Guantanamo Bay, suspected of involvement in the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and the September the 11th terror attacks. They are in legal limbo, held without charge or trial, and not recognized as prisoners of war.
Alex Jones and several folks have tried, or will be donating time to Mr. Jones, but our rules are they have to be present to do so. Sean Lausen, is Sean Lausen here? How about Eliza Giles? Eliza?
Mayor, I had about 20 that we can.
I know
15 is the max.
Well, figure out. Yes, four folks will be the max. So you'll get there, Mr. Jones. Don't worry about it.
All right. Thank you.
Denise Keeper Lausen. Sorry. Carlos Tame. Okay, Carl. Okay. Dummy. Yes. Okay. How about Mark Wallace? Mark Wallace. Okay. Let's see now. Well, so far that's only 6 of the 5 people that attempted, Mr. Jones, to give you 3 minutes. Only 2 are here, so you have 6 additional minutes. I'll give you 9,
well,
unless somebody else.
Mayor, I go outside and get people. I think folks kind of got.
Are you signed up to speak? What's your name? Trevor Hawley. Okay. I need one more person. What's your name, ma'am? Rebecca. I'm sorry. What's the last name? Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Jones, you're now at your maximum of 15 minutes. I will say, folks, occasionally you'll see myself or council members leaving the dais. I promise you, when we're back in the back, there's a television and audio we can hear and see.
Oh, yes, Mayor, I believe you.
Don't be offended when I leave.
I'm not offended.
Welcome, Mr. Jones. You have 15 minutes.
Well, thank you. And I hope you do stay, because this is important. And I want to thank the people that came here that are part of the Second American Revolution. We shall prevail. That is a guarantee. Because as the New World Order turns up the heat, they're going to form more resistance. The tighter they squeeze, the more people are going to have that light bulb go off above their head. Now, I believe this council is made up of good people. And I think it's great that Jackie Goodman, Mayor Pro Tem, has brought this forward. Let's go through the facts. And John Ashcroft and Lord Bush and their military-industrial complex owners, who are setting up a military dictatorship. I mean, this is admitted. PNAC documents cannot hide the reality of what's happening. In fact, Ashcroft, 6 months ago, really committed a federal crime. In sworn testimony before the House and Senate, he said there is no new terrorism legislation. It's not been introduced. The Domestic Security Enhancement Act, the Justice Domestic Security Enhancement Act, House and Senate versions. It's like if I got up here and said the sun didn't come up this morning. You'd laugh at me, but the press didn't call him on it. Now he's saying there is a Patriot Act 2 and Victory Act 1 and Victory Act 2, and you better pass all of them. You know what's in Patriot Act 2, Section 501? If you put the description of a terrorist under Section 802 of the first Patriot Act, you can be arrested and secretly executed. That's right, a 3-military judge panel. Now, what is Section 802 of the first Patriot Act that passed on October 27, 2001 at 5 in the morning when no one was allowed to read it, according to members of Congress? The definition of terrorist is any action that endangers human life that is a violation of any federal or state law. They have many other definitions about anything that influences government. Go read it for yourself. They're counting on you not reading it. They're counting on you not finding it. Ron Paul and others have pointed out that Hitler and Stalin and people didn't have the nerve to put stuff like this down on paper. They just did it. That's what's so amazing about this. And to see the assistant U.S. attorney here peddling this is really sad, but I know it's under orders. Because 2 months ago, it was reported that Ashcroft met out in Hollywood with the heads, the big editors of all the newspapers, and the heads of law enforcement, and said, we'd like you to go out and write editorials, editors, we'd like U.S. attorneys, assistant attorneys write editorials, get on talk shows, get out there and sell that this is the people, that this is good, this is a wonderful thing. So I want the council, in case you don't know this, and the people here today to understand that it's a stage-managed event. I mean, it really was hatched in a smoky room to oppress you, to manipulate you, to con you. Now, that makes me very angry, and that's why it's so exciting that this council may simply just say we have a Bill of Rights and Constitution, and we will not violate the Bill of Rights and Constitution, and in this city, America is still America. I mean, it's just that simple. Now, I'm sure you heard about 5 years ago about the FBI crime lab. The head of it, Dr. Frederick Whitehurst, who I've interviewed several times, said, I'm not doing this anymore. We've been framing people, manufacturing evidence. This is out of control.